I'm saying that those are chickens, and he's saying that those are sunflowers. Well, can we both be right?
They can be sunflower chickens.
Yeah, but they're not.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not. Those are sunflowers. And just because I believe that those are chickens doesn't make them chickens, you know? So... Well, hello YouTube, welcome to my chaos life again. How do you feel? Is everything okay with you? My name is Mirela, that's Petko, my husband, and today, as you can see, I'm with Shane Dawson merch.
And I'm not, because I don't have any.
You'll get one soon.
Yep.
From the new merch from the podcast. Speaking about podcasts, I adore the podcast.
She's a big fan. I'm a fan too, but she's a big fan. Yeah, just to give you guys an example, the other day I was suggesting to her, yeah, let's listen to the podcast in the car while we are driving somewhere, because we were going somewhere. And she's like, no, we have to sit and watch it and listen to it.
Take something to drink, relax.
Give it our full attention.
Absolutely.
Not in the car.
I don't like listening Shane in the car. Never mind. So, about the podcast, the last episode that they upload, it has a very interesting topic for us because we're Christians.
Yeah.
And they talked about religion, faith, and beliefs a lot. And we just wanted to react to it. I'm pretty sure he will never see this video, but still.
I don't know, someone will. Yeah, I hope you like it.
So let's see what they have to say.
I just have so many religious questions, but I don't think we can talk about all that.
Wait, why?
I don't know. Are we allowed to talk about that?
About religion?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay, the first thing that we're seeing is that they feel anxious to speak about faith and religion. And I don't think that that's a topic that it has to be a topic taboo, because we all have our beliefs. And I don't know why we have to be offended if somebody else believes something else.
I understand that, you know, this thing, faith and political stuff, with people you don't know, you're not too close with, they're a bit dangerous because, you know, they might lead to arguments and stuff.
I think it's absolutely fine and okay to talk about this topic. I don't know if they mean it because the YouTube algorithm doesn't like topics like this.
I think it's okay to discuss faith, religion, even with people who we disagree with. It's a good thing because it's an important topic. If any of this is true, then it's the most important thing in the world. You know, if we have eternal souls that are going to live forever, and you know, it's important. It's important. It's not just some casual stuff that happens today and is gone tomorrow.
Yeah, but I can understand the pressure that they can feel being cancelled from the people because people will disagree with some of the things that they are gonna say and they're believing. That's why I think they're anxious.
To me, it's just a normal conversation, just like
everything else.
Yeah, just like anything else.
Are both your parents religious? Were you raised in a really religious household, you two? I'm just curious.
Yeah, so we were raised, our dad at one point I think was a minister.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
He helped build the church, and then they liked him so much that they asked him if he wanted to be a pastor.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, I never knew that.
Yeah, and then my mom was raised Catholic. We went to a Catholic school, and then they got divorced, and we got kicked out, and it was a whole drama. Then my mom really, because we went through hard times, so my mom really got close with God, and it kind of, yeah, that's me personally, how I got through a lot of hard times as a child, was relying on God and Jesus. And then as I grew up, like, we never really went to church. Like, we tried a few times. We didn't really like it. My mom wasn't really a fan of certain churches. So we kind of didn't really go to church, and we kind of just had our own relationship. So for me, I kind of have my own relationship with God. Yeah. Like, I pray, you know, all the time.
Okay, so little Shane is adorable.
Yeah, it is. Those photos are
so
like...
sweet.
That's another topic. About the relationship between Shane and God, we all have our own relationships with God because we are different individuals. For example, my communication with God, it's different from Petko's communication with God. And that's okay. Like, we're not all the same.
You know, living our faith, the best way to do is if we do it together. If I just have my own relationship with God, yeah, of course I can have a relationship with God directly. That's what he promised us. But if I limit myself to that, I will feel that something is missing. I understand what he's saying here. I've heard that so many times, so many people, you know, that just don't feel at home in the local church for various reasons.
And that goes around for all the denominations, not a specific one. Christians, and not only Christians, like people can be very bad sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine, Shane and his mom going to a local church and everyone there looking down on her because she's divorced.
It's not something that it should supposed to happen, but
It's just something that I've seen happen, let's say that. So I don't know if that's the case with her. I don't know. I don't want to say anything, but
yeah, we don't know what is her situation, but I just wanted to say that we as a Christians, as a community, our mission is to spread the gospel and to love people and not to be like, oh, look at this guy, oh, look at that guy. Yeah, you can correct people.
yeah, church is a place where we are supposed to, worship together and grow together
And nobody's perfect inside.
And
We
let-
all have
yeah.
make mistakes.
just let God heal our souls and not expect, people to come to church with
Perfect souls.
perfect souls, because that's something that doesn't exist.
That's not the gospel, yeah. That's why we need Jesus, because we're unperfect.
Yeah.
I talk to God, and I believe in God, and I still believe in Jesus. I don't judge anybody that doesn't.
He's such a gentle
Yeah, he is.
gentleman, Shane. He's always apologizing for something. I don't think we should apologize for believing something. I mean, believing in Jesus doesn't mean that we judge people who don't. But on the other hand, we have to acknowledge that, I mean, if you believe that what Jesus is saying is true, if you believe that the Bible is true, then, yeah, of course, that means that if someone else doesn't believe that the same things, then you think they are wrong.
And that goes around for decades with everything, not only with faith.
Yeah, that's not judging, that's different opinions. And
that's okay. It's okay to have different opinions.
if I think you are wrong, I'll tell you and I'll say, okay, you are wrong.
And I will not be offensive about it. We can have a normal discussion. I can hear your point of view and you can hear my point of view.
We can have a conversation. I can show my arguments, you can show yours.
Yeah.
It's normal, and I don't think it's something to apologize for. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I agree.
Me personally, like, and maybe it's just because that's how I grew up, and I kind of consider Jesus like part of my family or something. So, yeah. But also, I've made every single mistake possible. I am in a gay relationship with a guy. I'm breaking every Christian rule. So, I don't know.
Okay, so I believe in Jesus too, and I have broke a lot of laws too. He is the same. Like, we are all the same. And if ever somebody is saying that they haven't break any laws from the moment that they became a Christian, they're lying. Even Jesus said that.
Yeah, that's the point. I mean, okay, I'm not in a gay relationship, but I've lied, I've stolen, I've done lots of things that are not okay if we judge them by God's standard. God is perfect and we're not.
It depends who you're comparing yourself to. For example, if I'm seeing myself through the eyes of the prisoner that killed 20 women,
Who's that guy? Whoa, 20 women, come on, that's
it's an example.
horrible. Okay.
But still, yeah, you got the point. I'm wow, perfect against him. And still, if I'm comparing myself to the God standards and the way that he's 100% perfect, then even the small
Then we have a problem,
mistakes,
yeah.
that
We
I
have a
have
problem.
done, we have a problem. So yeah, we all have done things that they're against God.
Yeah, and that's not a reason why we shouldn't be Christians and follow Jesus and go to church. It's the exact opposite. That's why we need Jesus.
But I know that, like, I believe in God, and I feel comforted by that, and I think that's all that matters. And I don't hurt anybody, and I don't judge anybody, and yeah.
What were you raised, Chris?
Well, it's interesting. Everyone from like my Peruvian side of the family, including my mother, are very Christian, mainly like Adventist, which is very like pretty like hardcore. But my dad just like is like I don't think there's a God. I don't think there's any like whatever. He's like
Atheist.
agnostic atheist somewhere in there, and thinks it's all like he thinks organized religion is insane and whatever. Like has very strong opinions about all that. So like pretty polar opposites. My parents in almost every way, in that way too.
Interesting relationship.
I don't know how it feels to grow up in such a family. I
Yeah.
cannot imagine.
Me too. And don't get us wrong, we don't come from very strong religious family. families.
Yeah, my parents were never really religious or going to church regularly or anything like that.
Yeah, and my parents started believing more after
After you
I
did, yeah.
started believing.
Yeah.
But still, the thing that I can say, I know that Adventists have very strong opinions and they're very hardcore.
Yeah, they are hardcore. I agree with Chris on
Yeah,
that.
I agree. I don't agree with a lot of their doctrines because they're putting a lot of emphasis on things that they have a different meaning in those days. And when I say that, I mean that in the Old Testament, the Bible is saying that we have to observe the Saturdays. But in the New Testament, Jesus is saying the opposite, that nobody should judge anyone if they don't want to do that anymore. And there's a lot of things that they're different from the Old Testament to the New Testament because something happens, Jesus happens. It's the same with the forgiveness of sins. For example, in the Old Testament, people were killing animals so they can be forgiven about their sins. But in the New Testament, Jesus is a sacrifice, and we don't have to do this anymore because things changed. Because Jesus died on the cross for our sins. So it's not something that we need to get it out of the Bible, but it has a different meaning after Jesus' appearance on earth.
Yeah, it's complicated, the relationship between the Old Testament and the New Testament, but you can't pretend that Jesus didn't change things because that's what he did. He changed everything, literally everything.
So that's why I disagree on a lot of topics with Adventists.
And I went to church growing up and stuff, but I think my relationship with it all is like much more complicated because I've had so many negative experiences with religious people, unfortunately. Like one of my best friends after years was like drunkenly told me that like I know you're going to hell because you're gay and whatever, and like things like that. And
Okay, I know that that's gonna sound offensive if somebody is saying you that. On the other hand, if you're seeing somebody having a pain, for example, a headache, and you have the pill for this headache, wouldn't you give him the pill so he can feel better? I kind of understand why he said that to you and from what perspective he did that. He didn't say that from bad feelings towards you, I hope. I think that he just cared for you and
Yeah, I mean, if I have any reason to think that someone is going to hell, I may be right about that, I may be wrong about that, I don't know. But if I have a reason to think that, I would be worried sick. It's
yeah.
it's not a fun subject. I mean, hell is something terrible, it's the worst thing that can ever be. So it would be my duty to say something. And just to say that, I don't think that people can go to hell for something they are, but people can go to hell for the things they do.
Yeah, I agree on that. And we're not talking about gay stuff only.
Yeah.
We're talking about every sin that is not okay in the Bible. Okay, there are some differences between the sins because sexual sins are more taken seriously in the Bible. But still, to be drunk is not okay. For example, your friend was talking those stuff to you while he was drunk, which still is not okay as a Christian to have,
I mean, that's the whole problem. If we hyper-focus on one sin only, then we lose sight of the other sins that are everywhere. And that's the problem with this world, that sin is everywhere. And imagine how beautiful it could be if it weren't for sin. That's why we need Jesus.
And like the church I went to, they would spend like hours talking about gay people and nothing else, and I'm like, are there any other sins in the Bible or just that one?
Yeah, exactly. He said it very well.
Yeah, there's a lot of sins. It's also a sin to have sex before marriage, but Christians are talking less about that than gay people,
Yeah, I mean it's sinful just to be angry. Jesus said that it's equal to killing someone.
Yeah.
Being angry at him. So what are we talking about?
But don't get me wrong, yeah, the Bible is saying that doing homosexual acts is a sin. But it's also say a lot of different other sins, and I think all of those sins can be forgiven if we repent and ask God for forgiveness.
Yeah, we may keep struggling with temptations, with our own issues and struggles. I mean, it's not a sin to have temptations. Let's say that it's not a sin to have.
We all have temptations.
Like homosexual urges and preferences. It's one thing. I mean, acting on them is another thing.
And it's not only for homosexual people. Like with heterosexual people, it's the same.
Literally everything. Yeah, everything. I mean, people in like heterosexual relationships, they still many times they cheat or they hurt each other.
That's because we're living in a sinful world
Yeah,
where sin
that's
is
because,
everywhere.
That's because we're born that way, and it's not enough to say, okay, I was born that way, so I'm fine like that. Please, I'm okay. No, we're not okay.
And so like as time went on, it just like started leaving a really bad taste in my mouth. But I would like to believe I was raised believing that there was a God. I was raised Christian, and I had a relationship with a God. Then I lost it, and I'm sort of right now just like I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what I believe. I'm like open to anything. I do think a lot of I don't know. There are a lot of bad people that use various religions for bad reasons, and that's really frustrating. But I think that's on the people, not the religion.
Right.
But regardless, it's frustrating. But I don't know. I would like to believe there's a God, and sometimes I will still pray at night sometimes to just whatever hope, like just like hoping, that there's something hearing me.
I cannot agree more with Chris on that. I don't know who is watching this video, but a lot of people are judging the faith or the religion based on some people that they have met that they're like assholes. Sorry, but I had to say that. And faith is not about those people.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a cult where you're worshipping a person. You're just trying to get a connection with something more than just people. You want to find your own connection with our Creator. So.
And yeah, in the history of Christianity, we have a lot of bad things that we have done.
A lot.
A lot. Just like in every other religion. But still, we cannot judge the whole faith based on some decisions that people have made in the past.
Yeah, it makes me so sad, It makes me sad seeing and hearing about things that, for example, Christians have done or, Christian churches have done. It just hurts my soul, but it doesn't, stop me from believing in God, because that's an entirely different thing.
I can say that me as a Christian, I also have done a lot of bad things towards people, and I have hurt a lot of people. I was offensive, and I'm still like, I make mistakes, a lot of mistakes, and we all make mistakes. So just don't look the whole faith and the whole religion based on the mistakes of people, because we all have mistakes.
Please don't. We are all terrible people, and that's terrible people. I mean, not all of the time, but sometimes, sometimes we can't help it.
Can I say something that, like, I never want anybody to feel like I don't think I've ever talked about religion on YouTube. I mean, it would be weird for me to talk about religion and also do gross sketch comedy. But
Finally, I was searching so badly to see what exactly Shane is believing, and I'm so happy that he finally talked about this stuff.
so I never want anybody to feel weird, like I'm pushing them into anything or I'm trying to whatever. Like, if you don't believe in God, I totally don't judge any of it. But if you don't mind, what I will say is, for me, when you say that, like you want to believe that there's a God, or you kind of are open to that, what I would say is, like, the fact that we met, the fact that we connected so many years ago, and then it came back around full circle at certain parts of our lives when we needed each other, and now we're doing this. Like, to me, it's hard to say there's not something bigger than myself that makes all these things happen. Like, even getting canceled and even all these other things, like, it all leads to something. When you look back, you're like, whoa, that all made sense. And that was a struggle and that was a challenge, but it led to something that changed my life or enhanced my life or brought people into my life and took people out of my life. Like, so for me and you, I'd say, like, proof of a God existing is like me and you sitting here right now. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Because how else do you explain that? Like, the way we met, all of that.
But also, just to throw out there, like, and kind of where I'm at, I've landed, I believe in God. Whatever kind of God someone else wants to believe in, how they want to believe in that. If they don't believe, that's fine. Because I think something like believing in God could be very momentary. There's people that didn't believe in God yesterday and something happened and now they've had a complete spiritual awakening. So
Yeah, that's us. And not only us, a lot of people are that way.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more.
Not all of the Christians are born in Christian families and they were Christians all their life. But even those people, they have a moment, because I have speak to so many of them, they have a moment in their life that they were like, why I really believe that? Let me find for myself, Because if you're just believing, like blind believing, without even searching it once, why do you believe, or do you really believe? We have a problem there, okay?
Knowing the truth is important, but looking for the truth is more important, maybe. just being curious and asking yourself, asking God Himself about things that you are unsure about. It's a process and it's a journey, and it leads somewhere. I would say there is a problem if you think you know everything and are just happy with your preconceived ideas, whether they be like that there is no God now, or I know everything about God. Does it make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just don't say that you know everything, because you don't.
Yeah.
I'm not going to judge somebody on a current belief in God. That's the heaviest belief you can possibly have. So I'm not going to say, oh, you're a bad person because we don't believe in God. We have a lot to live. I don't know where you land, but regardless, I'm not going to judge you. But God does want you to test your faith in Him, you know? So, like, if you're at the point, I don't know if I believe in God or not, like, why don't you try implementing as if God exists in your life for a matter of time and see if you notice a difference, see if you feel different about it, you know? If it's important to you, if you don't feel like you need to have any kind of a journey with God, then don't, you know? There's no pressure on it. I'm just saying that would be, you know, that's kind of where I'm at with it. And
Can I ask a question about, in the last episode, we talked about your addiction past with drugs, and you talked about AA. And I know that AA, part of the program is you kind of have to believe in some kind of God.
Well, there's a higher power, and it could be whatever you want, just knowing that there's something out there greater than you. Because you can't think possibly that you're the most, it's like an ego thing. Like you're the most powerful being in existence. There's no way. There has to be a higher power that you have to kind of give things to. So that's why it's always about a higher power with like AA and things of that nature.
Here is where I can disagree. I get the idea to believe in a higher power, but for me it has a difference in which higher power you believe, and they're not all the same. And again, I get the idea why people that need help feel the need to believe in something more than them. But I think it's important to search in which religion we're gonna believe and why, because there are a lot of differences between them.
No, I totally agree with the fact that, you know, the most important starting point is to just, you know, check your ego and, you know, understand that you're not perfect, you don't know it all, you don't get to decide everything. That's a wonderful start for a spiritual journey. You can't say, yeah, there's a higher power and just stop there. That's not the end point of it, but it's a good starting point.
It's a starting point, yeah, I can agree.
There's a lot of atheists, though. I mean, I'm interested because a lot of atheists know more about the Bible than a lot of Christians know about the Bible.
Because they want to
know?
make an educated...
And they do believe in something. At least they believe there's no God. That's a belief in something. I mean, but then again, it's an interesting topic.
Sadly, but I can agree on this too, because there's a lot of Christians that they're saying that they're Christians, but they don't even know why they're Christians. And if you ask them simple questions, they don't know how to answer you. For those people, I would consider just to read their Bible more and, search more about their faith, because I have been there. I was a Christian for so many years and didn't know, like, basic stuff. And something changed for me. I started to search deeper on this topic, and that's when my life turned around.
Yeah, and I agree that everyone believes in something, whatever they do. I mean,
Even if you don't believe, you
if
believe.
you say I believe nothing, and then you're just lying to yourself.
No, you're just believing
Everyone believes
in
in
nothing.
something because at least every night when you're going to bed, you believe that there is going to be a tomorrow.
Yeah, or if you're driving a car at night, you're seeing only a few meters ahead of you, but you still believe that there's a road, that continues. So we all believe in some things. Yeah. It depends what things do you believe. Yeah.
Well, I don't like religion. I don't not like religion. I think the idea of church, like every experience I've had with a church, and it's not anyone being like anti-gay to me, like experiences that you've had, but it's more like the drama and the like what feels like is demanded of you. So I feel like I've always had a relationship with what I believe to be is God, and I always act in faith that I am treating others how I would want to be treated, and I do pray, but I'm not like a super religious person. I don't have a lot of knowledge about religion because I didn't grow up going to church.
Okay, so Rylan himself is saying that he doesn't have a lot of knowledge about this topic, but he's saying that he decided for himself in what to believe and how to believe in those things. The point is that if all of us have our own beliefs in our own stuff, and all of those things are different from one another, so is there a truth? Like, I can understand why he's thinking that way, because I was there, but I just don't think that if we have 10 different religions, they can all be true. And it depends if you believe that there is a truth. For example, if we're taking this hat and I'm saying that those are chickens and he's saying that those are sunflowers, well, can we both be right?
It can be sunflower chickens.
Yeah, but they're not.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not. Those are sunflowers. And just because I believe that those are chickens doesn't make them chickens, you know? So, did you get my point?
Yeah, I got it. I mean, I got him. He's saying there's, in organized church, there's too much drama and too many demands, and I understand him. I mean, I hate drama and I hate demands. I'm a bit of an introvert, so these are things that I totally don't like. But if it's something that I'm prepared to put up with, if it's for a greater good. Because, for example, you can say the same thing about school. There's drama and demands everywhere at school. But in the end, we are there to learn things, so we should go to school.
What you just said is very important, because even when you hear a lot of these debates between scholars of if God exists, they don't allow each other to rely too much on the Bible or religions, because religion is of the man. You know, religion is of man. God is entirely different. We're just saying, did something create the existence we're in, or is it just all consequential of a big bang or something of that matter, and it's all just coincidental?
I have to say that, yeah, I don't consider myself to be a religious type. I'm just a believer who believes in Jesus. And I think there's some differences, because to be religious is following rules. To be a believer, it's about freedom. And when I say freedom, freedom doesn't mean like living in sin. Freedom is when you acknowledge the meaning to live outside of this sin and feel free. Because when you're trapped in the sin, you can think that you're free because you can do whatever you want. But still, are you free? Or are you just addicted to some stuff that you don't want to let go? I don't know, it's a little deep topic.
Yeah, I mean, there is a bit of a misconception about, you know, being religious, meaning, you know, blindly following man-made rules that you maybe don't like following, but they're just there for no reason.
Right.
You know,
and I
like, it has nothing to
there's a
do
higher
with
power.
if you've read a Bible or not. I think you can have never been religious and believe in God. I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. So, you know, I would agree with you on that.
Yeah, and like
It depends again in which God you're believing. Because if you believe in the God of your imagination, then we're going again on the previous topic. If I'm believing in one God and he's believing in another God of my imagination and of his imagination, are those both gods like real? And are they the same? And that's something that goes around New Age, okay? And if you don't know what New Age is, you can Google it. It's basically
Everyone knows what New Age is. All religions and faiths are correct. They're all one thing.
And
not
they're
one
all
thing.
the
I
same.
mean,
They cannot be one thing if the one religion is saying one thing and the other religion is saying other thing. How those things can be like the same?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
And again, let's ask ourselves, is there one truth?
If I come to the belief that there is a God, I wouldn't want to stop there. I would want to know more about that God.
Who is
he or she or it? What's our relationship to God? Why were we created? What's our
the
purpose?
point of everything? Yeah.
What's the point of living? I mean, you just don't stop there. There is some kind of God, and that's it.
And of course, that doesn't mean just to go blind and be like, okay, somebody told me to believe that, I'm going there, towards that direction. No, I'm trying to say that you have to search for yourself, being completely honest with yourself.
No, I would say that as a personal advice to whoever wants to listen. If you're curious about God, just ask God directly. He loves revealing himself to people, but on the other hand, he never forces himself on people. So you gotta ask first.
That's why we're made with free will. So we can choose whether we want to believe in him or not. So he's not gonna force us to believe, you know. And why is that? Because he didn't want to make robots that were born with some robotic love put in our hearts, you know.
Yeah, that's not how love works.
Yeah.
And like the community, well, no, I won't get there. But yes, I believe in a higher power, and I do pray.
So you separate like religion from your belief in God, kind of?
Well, I just don't have a lot of religious knowledge.
Yeah.
Because I didn't grow up going to church.
Religions are just interpretations that groups have of how God exists in the Genesis story. You don't have to subscribe to any religion to believe in God. There is no separation needed.
Yeah, exactly what I
And
was
that's,
saying.
yeah, that's exactly what you were saying about New Age stuff.
It's not the same. Like it cannot be the same.
It's not the same. I mean, it might have the same root because, you know, we're looking at the world around us and we're trying to make sense of it and seeing things in it that point towards a God, a creator. That's why different religions may have the same root, but they can't all be true at the same time.
And they
It just
cannot be the
doesn't work.
same. Let's just take two religions, only two. For example, Christianity and Islam. For example, Christianity, Jesus, God himself, is saying that he is the way, the truth, and the life, and nobody can go to God besides through him. And on the other side, we have Islam, which is saying that Jesus is not even God. So how are those two things the same? Like, they cannot be the same. They're talking about two completely different things to believe.
Yeah, I mean, they start from the same root, and Islam says, okay, some truths that, you know, God is almighty and he created us and he's going to judge us in the end. But you can't take all of Islam and all of Christianity and say they are both completely true, because that doesn't make sense. They just clash in some very important points. And that
Yeah,
goes...
it's not small differences.
So it's not indifferent which religion you choose to subscribe to. It's important. They are different. They are not the same.
It's another topic that everyone can choose, but that doesn't mean that everything that we as people choose is right. Because, we have so many different opinions.
Yeah.
If they're saying different things, how they're going to be true.
Yeah.
And I think
You
a
know
lot
what
of
I'm saying?
people,
The way I look at it.
I think a lot of people find comfort in church, in community, in finding resets, in the preaching, and I find that personally in a different way, through meditation, through yoga, and that's like where I find a sense of community and a sense of reset. But I just I've never got into, I don't know, church.
Yeah. I mean,
And again, you can be a Christian and not going to church. That's two different things. And I think in most cases, meditation and yoga are things that people do for themselves. For example, to feel better, to feel more relaxed, to be more healthy, you know. But praying, on the other hand, is something to give honor to the higher power that is above you. And I'm not saying praying only when you feel the need. Praying, like, just saying thank you. Thank you that I have so much things in my life.
It's communication.
It's a communication
it's
with
a
the higher
relationship.
power. Yeah, it's a relationship, exactly. So I can see kind of differences there too.
yeah. I mean, once again, I just want to say, as long as you're not hurting anybody, and as long as whatever you believe in makes you feel good, and like, I don't see any problem in that.
Okay, where do I start? I think it's impossible not to hurt anybody, at least in some way. It's sad, but it's true. I mean, we're hurting each other without even, doing it on purpose, but all of the time we're doing that. Yeah, the thing that you just said, it's not only about feeling good. It's the purpose of the whole thing, it's not only to feel good, to relax.
For example, I'm not a Christian because it feels good to be Christian. It feels amazing to be Christian, don't get me wrong.
Sometimes it feels good, that's just a bonus, but that's not the core of it.
I just searched for myself. This doesn't mean only searching in my feelings, because feelings can be very unstable, and we all know that. For example, one day I want to kill him, the other day I'm thinking, whoa, if I kill him, that's not a good thing, you know.
Oh wow.
But my feelings are saying that I want to stab him.
Oh wow. You're a psychopath.
But you get the point. And even believing in something, it cannot depend only based on how you're feeling, because we can feel all kinds of different things. Yeah, feelings can give us some experiences, but feelings are those experiences that even when I'm trying to say to you my experiences, you cannot get it because you haven't felt the same way as I felt, you know? So sometimes, especially in Christianity, Christianity, we have a lot of evidence that Christianity is real and Jesus is real. So it's not based on feelings. There's a lot of historical facts, a lot of archaeology facts, and all kinds of facts, and
Yeah, it's like detective work.
it's like detective work, yeah.
I'm looking for the truth, even if it doesn't always feel good.
So yeah, feelings can be very changeable. And if we take one person from every religion in this video here, they're all gonna say that, oh, I felt something, And that's why I believe in that. Well, I'm here to say to you that I'm not a Christian because I felt something. Yeah, I felt a lot of things, but that's not the main point why I'm Christian. Christianity is not based on feelings. It's based on evidence.
I remember, when I was in elementary school, there was something called the white bus. Did you have that? It was
I think so.
It was a white bus that would show up outside of school, and I was in 5th grade. And if you wanted, you could go in the white bus.
Yeah, dude, where the hell is this going?
You could go in the white
cautionary
bus.
tale. Okay.
It kind of is, honestly.
That sounds creepy.
Yeah, absolutely.
The wet bus.
I will not let my child go there.
And it was during lunch break, and they would teach you about God and Jesus. It was a Christian thing. And I went, and my friend was Samoan, and she was not Christian. But she was like, we should go check this out. I'm like, all right. So we go on the white bus, and right away, they're just saying the same things you were saying, like gay people go to hell. And, they were saying a lot of stuff like that. And then I look at my friend, and she believed in reincarnation. And I'm like, well, but what about, reincarnation? And they're like, well, that doesn't exist. And then... And then she was like, I believe in it. And they were like, well, honey, like that doesn't exist.
See, and I
was like, is Ellen DeGeneres going to go to hell? And they were like, well, if she doesn't make, and they were very judgy.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is really weird. I don't like this. This feels wrong to me. And I think since that experience, I'm like, I think you can be Christian or you can be any religion, but like, as long as you're not like hurting people and judging people, and honestly, like,
you can say the same exact thing, but not being so harsh on people. And the main point, explain to them. What do you mean? Why do you think that way? Where in the Bible it says that? What's the point of saying that to them? Not be like, oh, that's sin and you're going to hell. That doesn't help.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not enough to say that. It's like saying nothing.
And I can share with you why I don't believe in reincarnation. It's because the Bible is saying that we have one life and then we're gonna be judged.
Yeah, you start by saying, okay, reincarnation doesn't exist. I think it doesn't exist because it literally says so in the Bible. You have only one life. Then, that opens a whole different topic. Why do we believe everything in the Bible is true, and there are, reasons you can offer for that. It's a long conversation that you should have. You shouldn't just say there's no such a thing and stop there.
My favorite argument, Bible is written by humans. Be like, okay, do you know the history of the Bible? Well, no, it's made from humans.
Yeah, and they probably changed it 100 times. Yeah.
But where, when, can you show me something? Can you talk to me about it? Because I have a lot of things to say on this topic. Well, no. I just don't believe in the Bible. Well, okay.
I personally believe that God made everybody different for a reason. I think that like when we all fucking die and it's all fucking over and we're in front of whatever those gates are, I think God, he has an iPad and he's just like, okay, did you kill anybody? No, you didn't. You got canceled a lot. Did you apologize? You did. You grew. Okay, like come on in. Like I personally don't think it's like as judgy as maybe some people do.
We believe as Christians that it has a meaning what you're doing in this life and what do you believe in this life. Because when you die, it's over. You cannot go back and change some things. That's why Christians are preaching the gospel.
Yeah, but people always imagine it works like that. You die and then you go face God and he's like, yeah, you've done these good things, good, bad. If you do more good than bad, yeah, we'll let you in.
That has nothing to do with the gospel.
Yeah, because that's not Christianity. Because if it ends here, then what's the point of Jesus coming and living a life like a human and being crucified and all that? It's something that you should ask yourself. Why Jesus? Why did all that stuff happen?
You're not saved based off your works. You're saved by the grace of God. And if you believe in that free gift that Jesus died on the cross for you, and you take that gift, you believe that, you will be saved. It's so simple. And it's just written in the Bible everywhere. You're saved by grace through faith. That's the gospel. But works follow your faith.
It just doesn't matter what you did in the past. If you accept the gift of God's love and His sacrifice on the cross and just believe and trust Him that He's going to make you whole again, it doesn't matter what you did. If you repent and trust Him and believe in Him, He's going to restore you. That's the whole point of Christianity.
And repent doesn't mean to do the same thing over and over again. I have repented like this in my past, and it's not like repent. To repent means to leave this sin behind you and go forwards and I don't know, follow Jesus.
Come on in. Like I personally don't think it's like as judgy as maybe some people do.
Okay, the Bible is saying that God is the perfect judge.
God doesn't judge like people do. I mean, people can be judgy, meaning that they judge, but they do it in a hypocritical way, or people can be wrong in their judgment. But imagine God, if He's as perfect as He is, then He's also a perfect judge. He doesn't make wrong judgments. He doesn't judge unjustly. He doesn't judge in a way that's hypocritical. So His judgments are always correct and perfect and 100% merciful and 100% just at the same time. And that's something that only God can do. Nobody else can, reconcile those two things and at the same time.
For my experience, I think my parents both grew up in Utah, where their surroundings were very Mormon heavy, and they had been pushed into the Mormon church. And I think when my mom was raising us, she didn't like how she felt when she was kind of thrown into a religion. So she wanted to give us the opportunity to choose what we believed and where we wanted to go and how we wanted to fall. But we did always pray and believe in a God.
I just want to throw something very quick here. Mormons are not Christians because they have a completely different view on Jesus, if He's God or not, and a completely different view on how people are getting saved. They believe in saving by works. Christians believe in saving by grace, which is completely different things. And not only, there's a lot of differences.
Yeah, I mean, they can be nice people, they can be very good people, but they are not Christians by the definition of the Christian gospel. Their books are different, and they say different things than the Christian Bible.
I just have such a hard time as a gay man with, like, specifically a book that is anti-gay.
But I think you're thinking too literal. Like, you can believe in God and not be Christian. You can be anything. You can literally think that God is an alien, and that's okay. Like,
If it's true, then it's okay. If it's not true, then it's not okay. I mean, if God is not an alien, then it's not okay to believe that.
Yeah.
But then where do you go to learn about these things if you don't feel welcome in the community?
Why? Why can't you have your own relationship with God? Why do you have to go into a building?
That's what I'm choosing to do. But I'm saying for, like, Chris, who's talking about, like, feeling alienated from a community.
Then I think that Chris, if he wants to, I think can have his own relationship with something else, and he can literally, you already do that by filming, by seeing the beauty in what you're making. Like, that to me is a God-given talent. That's something that you weren't just like, how were you just born with this thing that somebody else can't do? You can do it. So for me, something gave you that, and it might not be Jesus or a Christian God or a Jewish God or whatever. It might just be something else, and like, I don't think that thing is judging you or anybody. But once again, believe in whatever you want to believe in, and we don't judge, and feel free to do anything you want. We love you.
That was a nice wrap up.
Don't murder
on
people.
We're gonna take a quick little break. We'll be right back. Don't murder anybody.
Yeah, okay, so what to say? Shane is very nice, and he's a bit too nice here, I think, because he's saying things that just don't make sense, because... No, I'm sorry, but you're saying, I don't know who God is, I don't know how He thinks, I don't know how He operates, but I don't think He's judging. I mean, how do you know? How do you know?
And if Shane is a Christian, because he said that he is a Christian, the Christian God can judge.
He's many things. He's a father, he's a friend, he's many things to us, and one of these things, he's a judge. He's not like a cruel judge. He can be a strict judge, but he's the perfect judge. He's judging. He's always judging in the correct way, let's say that. Okay, don't murder people, I agree.
I agree too. So guys, that was the video for today. It's so long, I know. And if you stayed till the end, please leave a comment down below so I can see. I know nobody will stay at the end of this video, but still, who cares? I share all my thoughts out there, and you too, so we're happy about it.
Yeah, we love all of you, literally all of you that are watching. So if you, at some point you don't feel loved, sorry, but
You're wrong. Your feelings are lying.
We're not trying to hurt your feelings. We're not trying to offend. We totally love you, and if there is something that someone wants to have a discussion on, just
You can send me a message.
write a comment far away. We love discussions, so let's have it.
Yeah, without any bad feelings, we can just talk about things.
Yep.
So thank you again for watching. See you in the next video, and bye.
Bye.